Hello everyone! We are successfully moving in our fantastic project, and this talk marks right the middle point of the whole thing. 3 topics have been worked through and another 3 are still ahead. Time flies and we've been doing pretty well so far. How are you feeling? Most of the time, are you calm? Or are you acting under pressure? Are you a person in stress, or you don't know what stress is? Are you enjoying life rather than fighting it? I appreciate this opportunity of learning the language by doing some very up-to-date and very practical things for your being. And the thing I'm going to tell you about today is how to become stress-resistant. Many of us believe that stress is primarily caused by external events, people or situations. If this were true, then everybody in the same difficult and challenging events would develop stress. But in reality, this is not the case. One person may find an event stressful, yet another person in the same event may not find it stressful. For example, if a train is held up, one person may use the time to catch up on work, yet another person may become irritated, angry, and stressed at the delay. This is the same event, but 2 different responses. Daily problems are not necessarily stressful to all of us. Some people find them stressful, but others do not. We all know people who seem naturally more able to deal with stress than others. The human brain is 2 pounds of the most complex software in the world, but it is really a bit dense. It cannot work out the difference between short-term physical threats and the long-term psychological stressors. It triggers response for both types of stressors, and the response interferes without thinking. It diverts blood flow from one higher brain centers that deal with rational, problem-solving tasks and direct it to the lower reptilian brain. It does this to help us react automatically without thinking. This is excellent if we are dealing with a physical, short-term threat, such as if we cross the road and a car is nearly upon us. In order to get out of its way and survive, we have to act instinctively. If we start thinking about the situation, the car would have run us over before we reacted. However, in the modern, complex world, these short-term physical threats to our life are quite rare. They have been replaced by more chronic, complex, psychological stressors for which we need access to our higher, problem-solving areas of our brain. The reality is that no matter what or who is the source of the stress, if you choose not to react, your stress cannot survive. You have the power. So instead of focusing all your energy on finding short-term solutions to relieve the symptoms, why not invest some time on your long-term health and peace of mind and do the work to become stress-resistant? The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. There are the universal stress points: health, money, relationships, work, and time constraints. The things that cause us stress may vary from person to person, but the feelings and emotions we experience almost always come from the sense that we lack control. You are stuck in traffic, going 20 kilometers in 1 hour, and all you can think about is how you're going to be in so much trouble if you're late to work again. Maybe you're feeling pulled into too many directions, up against unrealistic deadlines, or it could be something that's simple as not being able to find a parking place when you are running late. The real problem with stress is that many people Do not pay attention to signals that stress is building until the feelings become obvious. And even then, there is a tendency to focus on relieving the symptoms rather than addressing the cause. For example, you may first notice that you are totally stressed out as you begin getting annoyed while standing in a long, slow line in the grocery store. And your automatic response is to blame the checker for not going fast enough or a problematic customer, when the real source of your stress is something your partner said to you earlier that morning that just really upset you, and now it is staying in the back of your mind. To identify stressors is the most important step of all, as identifying the things that stress you out in your life is the first step towards eliminating them. Take 10 minutes to think about what stresses you out during the day. What weekly occurrences stress you out? What people, activities, things cause stress in your life? Make a list and see which of them can be eliminated. Although not all sources of stress are avoidable, of course, you'll gain a tremendous sense of control and self-confidence simply by learning to recognize things that trigger stress for you. Stress can occur in the following situations. Major life changes. These changes can be positive: a new marriage, a planned pregnancy, a promotion, or a new house. Or they can be negative: the death of a loved one or the ending of a relationship. Stress may happen in your surroundings. Sometimes the simplest thing can begin as an annoyance and escalate to a full-blown stress attack. A barking dog, your neighbor who starts his car at 5:30 a.m. and keeps the engine on for 15 minutes, or lack of privacy. Then unexpected events can stress you. A friend or a family member shows up on your doorstep without calling. Just as you are about to leave work, your boss tells you a report has been done before you can leave. Or that hot water heater you wanted to replace for the past 6 months suddenly dies. Your telephone battery unexpectedly goes dead and you don't have a charger. Fear brings a lot of stress. Fears can be external or internal. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of uncertainty, public speaking, or fear of flying. If you have got limiting beliefs, for example, if your limiting belief is that you are not attractive, then meeting new people in a social situation can be the cause of your stress. If you believe you aren't smart, any sort of new assignment at work that tests your ability to learn will result in high anxiety and stress. But these sources of stress can be eliminated with a little thought. Now I'm going to tell you how. What you should immediately do is eliminate unnecessary commitments. I told you before about permission to say no. Apply that concept here. We all have many commitments in our life related to studying, work, our boyfriends, girlfriends, things to do at home, other family, part-time work, religion, hobbies, online activities, and even more. Consider each of them, the amount of stress they provide and the value you get out of them. Edit them brutally, and take steps today to remove the ones that stress you out the most. Number 2, procrastination. We all do this, of course, but allowing stuff to pile up will stress you. Find ways to take care of stuff now. Develop do-it-now habit and keep your inbox and desk clear. Number 3, Take time to get things in your life organized. We are all disorganized to some extent. Even we have organized something and created a great system for keeping in that way, things tend to move towards chaos over time. But disorganization stresses us out in terms of visual clutter and in making it difficult to find stuff that we need. The next one, being late always stresses us out. We have to rush to get ready, rush to get there, learn the habit of being early, and this stress disappears. Make a conscious effort to start getting ready earlier and to leave earlier. Time yourself to see how long it actually takes to get ready and how long it actually takes to get somewhere. Once you know these times, you can plan backwards so that you show up 10 minutes early each time. It's a good feeling, I guarantee that. The next is about controlling. We are not the masters of this universe. I know we sometimes wish we were, but acting as if we are is a sure way to get stressed out. Trying to control situations and people cannot work and only serves to increase our anxiety when it doesn't work. Learn to let go and accept the way that other people do things and accept what happens in different situations. The only thing you can control is yourself. Work on that before you try to control the world. Learning to let go the control over other people and the situations around us is a major step towards eliminating stresses. Number 6, eliminate energy drains. If you have analyzed your life and found things that stress you out, you might have also noticed things that drain your energy. Certain things in our life just cause us to be more exhausted than others, but they have less value. Identify them and count them out. You'll have much more energy and much less stress. Number 7 is my favorite. Avoid difficult people. You know who they are. If you take a minute to think about it, you can identify all the people in your life: bosses, co-workers, customers, friends, family, and so on. These people can make your life more difficult. Don't comfort or battle with them. That will most certainly be difficult. Just cut them out of your life. One more. Unschedule events. Create more open periods of time in your life. It's not necessary to schedule every minute of our lives. Learn to avoid meetings when you can call or write a message. When someone asks to schedule a meeting, first try to get it done through email or phone, and if that doesn't work, avoid having it scheduled. Ask them to call you and see if you are free at that time. You will love having an open schedule. Number 9, help others. It may sound contradictory to add more tasks to your life, but trying to help other people, you've got enough to do. Helping others, whether volunteering for a charity organization or just making an effort to be compassionate towards people you meet, not only gives you a very good feeling, it somehow lowers your stress level. Number 10, relax throughout the day. It is important to take mini breaks during your work. Go outside and appreciate the fresh air and the beautiful sky. Talk to someone you like. Life doesn't have to be all about productivity. You should also avoid using online activity too. Get away from the computer. Get away from the social networks. Get away from your telephone and go to exercise. This is the common advice for stress relief, and that's because it works. But it's also a stress prevention method. A fitter person is better equipped to handle stress. Another important factor, being unhealthy, can be a major stressor, especially once you have to go to the hospital. And exercise can help prevent that. The next one, eat healthy. This goes hand in hand with exercise as a stress prevention method. Of course, become healthier and a major source of stress will disappear. Another important thing I would like to insert in your heads is that stress resistance is important for your future job. There are many good, well-paid jobs that require a candidate to be able to work under pressure and who is able to cope with different levels of stress. Some people will be able to cope very well, while the others might be struggling a lot. I am talking of jobs which require to finish certain tasks within certain deadlines, with a certain outcome, such as journalists, recruitment consultants, translators, builders, architects, software developers. They can be very stressful. Also, running your own business, no matter in what industry, will put a different level of stress on you, and not everyone is suitable for that challenge. But we need to realize that pressure and stress nowadays are normal aspects of life. They are unavoidable, and at some point in life, everyone has to deal with it. The question is how well we are able to do it. Dear students, you should know that some companies conduct stress interviews, and it is better to be prepared for such one. Just keep in mind some features of a stress interview. The purpose of it is to stress the candidate during the interview and in the process to find out how well a candidate can handle certain situations under pressure. Unfortunately, the candidate not always realizes that in the process. Now some examples in more detail. Imagine you are being interviewed and 2 or 3 interviewers ask more than one question in a row to find out how well the candidate can handle these questions. Are you able to finish your answers to each question? Did you remember all of them without asking to get it repeated one more time? Sometimes they tell the candidate that they don't like him or her. This is to test the person's reaction. Not everyone might be able to take this question in an impersonal way. They may provoke you by using provocative words and questions, by talking in a provocative or even aggressive tone, no matter how well or how poorly the candidate answered the questions. You will feel awful and horrible. Interviewers say things like, "This is your answer? Are you serious? Is there nothing else you can think about?" Another technique is continuously interrupting the candidate when speaking. That makes the person feel as if he would have given a very poor answer and they are not able to finish their thought. If anything of those happens, you should be well prepared and not to get hooked. Stress is and always be a part of life. In fact, some stress is good and we'd be pretty bored without it. With commitment and some honest inner work, you can learn to better manage unexpected life events and become resistant to the potential negative effects of stress. You have the power. Get control on your life. Thank you for listening and keep on track.